You worked with Joseph Papp?
I worked with Joseph Papp.
How
yes.
did that happen? Did you just audition and get the role?
I did.
Did you hound him?
No, I didn't hound him, no.
You were just good.
I know people who have hounded him, did hound him.
It works.
It sometimes did. No, I auditioned for a multi-ethnic Shakespeare company produced by Joseph Papp, directed by Estelle Parsons. This was back in late 1985. I just started getting going with my career. I'd just done the Cosby Show. At the same time as I got the first job on the Cosby Show, I got a job through an audition at the Public Theater in this multi-ethnic Shakespeare company that was doing 3 Shakespeare plays, Romeo and Juliet, As You Like It, and Macbeth in repertory, directed by Estelle Parsons. We worked at the Public Theater first. We did then a tour of parks during the summer, and then we worked at the Belasco Theater on Broadway. And this was a year and a half of Shakespeare in repertory. Some members of that company, Delroy Lindo, Rocky Carroll, and Regina Taylor, were all members of that company.
What a party!
Yeah.
Were you in heaven?
I was in Shakespeare heaven. It was fantastic.
Then that sounds like it was your destiny. So how do I, again, back to being intimidated, how do I prepare for your class? What do I do each week besides just go?
Well, the best thing to do is really pick a piece, and I can help you do this. I can help anyone. I can make suggestions. I can point someone towards certain things. Pick a piece that you really are excited about for whatever reason that you just love. No sonnets, by the way.
Okay.
Just monologues. And eventually we're going to do scenes as well in the class, monologues and scenes. The reason I stay away from sonnets is sonnets are poetry, and purely poetry. Plays are dramatic poetry, and I want to deal, this is an acting class in a sense, so I want to deal with acting issues. I want to deal with poetic drama. Pick a piece that you love and go over it. Read the play that the piece is from. Okay,
Inform yourself,
never hurts.
Right.
And just read it over and over again. Look up anything you don't know or even think you might not know in terms of terms or phrases and stuff. Usually in editions of Shakespeare, you can just look it up right on the page next to it or in the back or something. But if you need to get a dictionary or a glossary, there are many ways of looking. Look up the words and come in prepared to not do it, but read it. Just the first thing we do is you sit in a chair and we're all sitting and okay, read it, and then all right, let's talk about it. We talk about it a little bit. Let's read it again. What do you think that means? What does this whole line mean? Why does he say it this? We start just breaking down what exactly are you saying. Here's one of the things that happens with Shakespeare a lot, not just in America, but I think in Great Britain as well, is that we'll take a Shakespeare passage and like Othello or something, monologue this long, or whatever, speech this long, and it'll be like, okay, Othello, what's this about? Well, Othello's angry. Okay, well, Othello's jealous. Othello's whatever. Great. And we wash with an emotional tone. We wash an entire speech or an entire section of a play with an emotion. This is the angry section.
Right.
This is the jealous section. This is the introspective. It's like, and actors, unfortunately, can be content with that. Well, I'm angry. It's like, okay.
They do that with Shakespeare and everything sometimes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Other things too, other forms of drama too. You've got to break it down. Okay, anger is part of what's going on here, but what does he mean right here? What is he saying? Not what is he being. He's being angry. What is he saying? And by the time you finish adding up all the specific things that character is saying, you might come to a different conclusion that he's angry. You might realize he's not necessarily angry. He could be all kinds of things. A Shakespeare speech will go like this. With that wonderful diversity of the human heart and mind. It'll go like this. And we tend to go like this with it. Maybe with a little blip here and there. You know what I mean? We've got to learn to follow where Shakespeare's going. And we kind of think, well, no, but he was angry at her here, so he can't be loving to her here. No. Yes, he can. Just like you can in a conversation with someone you love and hate. A complex relationship that you have with somebody, you can be this one moment and something completely different just a moment later, and that's how Shakespeare writes. That's what makes him brilliant. He captures, like no other writer has ever captured, the human heart, even more than mind, of course, but the human heart and how it works, all the variations and subtleties of it. And we've got to train ourselves to follow that and not just like for whole sections, he's this, he's that.